Good morning and welcome to Braves Country today. Braves had a tough one last night. In case you missed it, Braves fall to the New York Mets 7-3. And once again, Kyle Wright was an absolute disaster. And at this point, you quit bringing him up. He is never going to make it in this uniform as a starting pitcher. He's just not going to do it. One way or the other, the Atlanta Braves have to understand that this is over. We're done. No mas. He comes up time after time after time, and let's take a look at his line last night. 2 innings, 5 earned runs, 3 walks, only 1 strikeout, which means his bat is not missing the damn, his ball is not missing the damn bat 1 iota. He's garbage. And so you have 2 things that you can do right now if you're the Atlanta Braves. Well, 3 if you DFA him, but I don't see them doing that. You either A, send him back down to the minors, build up his stats down there, trade his ass at the deadline, and someone else who may think they have something can turn him in something. My suggestion is trade him to the Texas Rangers, who have been trade partners in the past with Atlanta, and go get Ian Kennedy to help your bullpen. If they can turn him around, that's fine. So be it. Maybe someone else can get something out of this kid. But the definition of insanity is just doing the same damn thing, Brian Snitker, in AA over and over and over and expecting a different outcome. He now has a 9.95 ERA on this season alone. He had like a couple of decent starts to end last season, but as soon as you put him in the playoffs, what happened? You can't rely on him. The other option, and I would be in favor of either one, the other option, send him back to the minors and start developing him as a bullpen arm. Because when he is a starter, he is trying to finesse too much. Tell him to use 2 pitches. His fastball, which is pretty decent, and develop a second off-speed pitch that isn't a balloon shot that gets absolutely destroyed every time he goes out. Right now, he's trying to throw 3 or 4 pitches. He's the master of none. He's getting absolutely hammered. That would be the solution, because the Braves need help in the bullpen. So either make him a bullpen guy or trade him for a bullpen guy. I would be in favor more so of the prior, because this is not a team that is in a full rebuild. But when we get to the deadline, if the Braves have a pulse, trade him for a solid reliever. You're not going to get something unrealistic. Just trade him for a solid reliever and be done with it. Let some of these other kids in the minor league system have their chance. Mueller needs a chance to shine. Inoue will be back in a little while. We've got starting pitching down there, and I know Kyle Wright is. I just don't think they want to admit that it didn't work out. But he's not a starting pitcher in the Atlanta Braves organization. And anyone that thinks he is, they're fooling themselves. They're kidding themselves. Bryce Wilson is a better choice to come up and make a spot start, because Bryce Wilson at least keeps you in the game. Atlanta ends up losing 7-3. He comes out of the game. They're down 5-0. They did come back and make it interesting, but this is a day where you didn't have ACUNA because his back tightness, so they're being precautionary. We hope he can play tonight, but you just never know. Hopefully he's not heading to the IL. This is hopefully something that is just very, considering his age, we're very hopeful that it's something very minor, and we'll see him either tonight or tomorrow night. With Fried going on the IL, they have not announced a starter for today's game yet. I expect that to be announced somewhere around noontime. It could be a number of pitchers, but when we look at the guys who would actually be available, you have to do deductive reasoning. Obviously, you're not going to mess up your rotation because Charlie Morton just pitched the other night. Ian Anderson is slated to pitch on Saturday. Drew Smiley is slated to pitch on Friday. And so the obvious choice would realistically be maybe bring Bryce Wilson up for a spot start, but depending on how they want to go, or possibly have Kyle Muller go in for a few innings, we'll see what they do. It's kind of hard to predict what this leadership's going to do, because it's very rare that they're going to do the thing that would make sense. So we move on from that. They start a 4-game series against Cincinnati. The Cincinnati Reds, for folks that are not familiar with them, they're playing 500 ball, better than Atlanta. They're 36-36. They'll send Santillan to the mound. He's only pitched a couple of games in the majors. He's got a 4.7 ERA, had a decent first outing, had a terrible second outing. So we'll see what we get. He's a right-hander. He throws, low 90s, decent control. I watched his first outing, and he's solid. He's not someone that I would say is dominant, but considering the way Atlanta's offense can get in a rut really quickly because they try to ambush pitchers, there's no telling how they're going to respond. So that begins a 4-game series in the Great American Small Park today. So we could have a lot of runs. It could be an exciting game. First pitch 7:10. It looks like that's going to be on MLB Network, as well as the Bally Sports Southeast and Bally Sports Ohio as well, if you live in the Ohio area. But if you're out of market, it is going to be the Major League Baseball game of the night. So to recap real quick, we're going to hit this 4-game series, 5 games out of first place. Not terrible. The Nationals have leapfrogged us. They've won 9 of their last 10. This is a team that we said if they started getting hot, look out, and here we are. And so the Nationals head to Miami for a 4-game set in their own right. Mets and Phillies have the day off. They will play each other tomorrow. I believe it's a doubleheader tomorrow, and ends up being a 4-game series over the weekend. Remember, they had some issues at the beginning of the year where they couldn't get the game in. All right. So also want to look at that. Look at Freddie Freeman. My wife won't even let me take his, he's got like a neck bracelet. It's one of those foam things to keep from about. She didn't want me to take his neck brace off yet, but this is a brand new one that I forget the name of the site, but this is one of these collectible type deals, and she got it for me. Essentially, her and my dog got it for me for Father's Day, which I know makes everyone laugh, but that's just the way we are. We'll be putting it behind me in the very near future. I just wanted to show them off. I do. Freddie Freeman sitting on the tomahawk. I thought that was pretty cool. I've got my eye on some ACUNA ones, but I'm waiting for one that I really like. Some of the ones that I've seen come out, I don't want it to look too hokey. So there you have that. All right. We'll see you tomorrow. Go Braves. Send Kyle's right ass packing. I'm over it. Can't deal with it anymore. God dog it. If they just would have let Josh Tomlin start the game last night and did a complete bullpen game, the Braves probably win that ball game. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great Thursday, and we'll get you set for the weekend tomorrow.
You're in Braves country.